Okay, good evening, everyone. It's time for the Monday, April 4th, 2022 Community Development Committee meeting. It is currently 5:04, and we will begin the meeting with a roll call, please.
Chairman Moisio, I'm sorry, Chairman Rivera,
Present.
Alderman Moisio, Alderman Florian,
Present.
Alderman Hayes,
He's here. I don't know where he went.
Alderman Turner.
Here. Alderman Hayes is coming.
Alderman Hayes is coming.
Okay, we're doing roll call. Alderman Hayes? All right, we're all here. Thank you so much. The next item is the approval of minutes of the March 7th, 2022 regular meeting. If I could please have a first and a second.
I'll first.
Second.
Okay, first from Alderman Florian, second from Alderman Turner. Do we need a roll call or? Roll call, please.
You can do a voice vote if you like for minutes.
Pardon?
You can do a voice vote for minutes.
Okay, voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Okay, great. Next item, item D, approval of the minutes from March 21st, 2022 special meeting. May I have a first and a second?
I'll first.
Okay, I have a first from Alderman Florian, second from Alderman Turner. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, the next portion of the meeting is audience time. Is there anybody from the audience that would like to talk about anything that's on the current agenda? It's the Community Development Committee. It's not meeting. It's not the General Council. It's a committee meeting.
And not including the public hearings.
Yeah.
So he'll call those individually too.
The agenda was out on a paper like this, out on the table. You can have mine if you like. Now, that's what he's asking, if you want to come up now and talk about what's on the agenda for this committee meeting.
Are you here for one of the public hearings? For Brook Avenue? Yes. Okay, he'll call that momentarily.
And then you can, yeah, and you can have comments during that time. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, there being no further audience time, we'll proceed to item number 3, and this will be the public hearing for 3370 Brook Avenue, and we will, at this time, call the hearing to order.
So all you need to do then is call for public comments, sir.
Okay, are there any public comments at this time?
Related to,
You can come on up and
verify.
speak at the microphone.
Yes.
Anybody who would like to comment for the public hearing on 3370 Brook Avenue can line up in front of the podium and then just state your name and the comments that you'd like to make.
That's okay. We'll try to answer them.
My name is Gloria Collymore.
Can you just make
There
the
you-
microphone a little closer?
My name is Gloria Collymore,
Good job.
and
Good job.
I was told by Kathy and Noel that if I made a statement, I didn't have to fill out that form and have it notarized. Is that correct? Okay. So what I say today will be in your minutes, and it's notarized more or less.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm here because I live at 3305 Sunset Avenue, which is senior building. And I know Jim Onan will be selling our building. So I'm here not only for the Brook Avenue building, but our own, is I just want to know if the owner, as an owner-occupier, do I have any rights when the building is sold? I want to know if we are required to sell our condos. I want to know if we can continue living in the building as owners? And would the association have a voice? And most of us are in our 70s, 80s, and 90s. So if we had to sell, the only place we have to go is a nursing home or 6 foot under. Those are the stage, that's the stage we're in now, and that's what we'll be facing. So I want to know, can we live as owners and then have some kind of requirement where when we die, that our condo can be sold by our family to the owner. I don't know if we have a right to sell to the owner or to sell to an outside person. And then will the new owner-manager be monitored by the city? You know, right now we have an association. We have ONA and the association working together. What would happen with that? And then my last question is, if we have to sell to the owner, can we turn around and rent my own condo? Can I just, because I have nowhere to go, you know, other than, like I said, 6 feet under or a nursing home. And I'm speaking for many of us that are owners. And I know we're not addressing 3305 yet, but it's coming, because they already gave us, I think it was November, they gave us the same material that you sent out to us by certified letter. So when we didn't sign anything then, it's on hold now, but we have no idea what we're getting into. So I would really like for you to address it, not only for me, but when I go back, that I can tell the rest of the owners of what we're facing. That's it.
Are we in a position to answer those questions, Stuart?
Many of the questions that, I'm sorry, ma'am, what was your last name again?
Collymore?
Mrs. Collymore asked are questions of the private relationship between the association and the owner, but you can also, is the petitioner here tonight? Is the representative? Okay. So some of those questions could be directed to the petitioner.
Petitioner being the
own-
buyer?
The seller.
Oh, the seller.
The seller who's asking for,
Who owns the building?
Mr. Onan.
And that, so you can ask questions.
So my questions need to go to,
well, the chair can, when we can ask them, we can ask some of those questions to be referred to the owner as well.
okay.
What's being asked of the city tonight is to amend a condition that's in the zoning which requires the building to be owner occupied. What that doesn't get into is kind of the complex questions that you're asking about, which makes sense, of the relationship, what happens when a building is deconverted from a condominium. And so some of those questions can be, we can direct some of those questions to the owner tonight as well.
So the owner will be answering them tonight?
Well, we're hoping to hear from the owner during the audience participation
I
time.
don't see him in line.
Well, the public hearing is an appropriate time for the committee to ask questions of, not receive information from the public, but also to inquire anything that they want to of the petitioner as well.
Okay.
So we will be asking him.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your patience.
Hi, good evening. I'm Sandra Fuller May. I'm the president of the association at Onan Senior Suite at 3305 Sunset Avenue. And Gloria have already brought up some of the issues. So the only other issue I was thinking of asking is about the taxes for the building. What's that, 3309 or the 5, the one next door that's selling?
Oh.
If that building changes to...
Oh, ma'am,
say,
could you
all-
speak a little bit closer into the microphone so the audio feed can pick you up?
Sure. If
Thank
that building changes to all renters, will that change affect taxes, property taxes in that area?
In general, taxes are paid by the owner of the property. In an association with a condominium, each of the owners pay their own, and then the association pays for the individual. When a single entity owns a property, usually that landlord will pay the taxes and then pass the cost on through rent.
But the taxes won't go up any higher if it changes all to renters, will it?
I don't know the answer to that, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Elizabeth Newton.
There you go.
I'm Elizabeth Newton, and I also live at 3305 Sunset. My concern is if the zoning is changed in our building as well as the one on Brook Avenue, if we have to sell to the new owner, if they're going to go all rental as well, because we did hear that that might change at the same time as the one on Brook. If we have to sell, would we get who would put the price on, the valuation on the units? Would we have to take whatever was offered by the new seller, or you see what I'm saying?
So the city,
If we can sell on the open market, then we can go for current prices. The value is going up there right now. Would the new owner have the right to say, I'm going to give you this price and that's it?
We don't control that.
Once again, the complexities of a condo deconversion is something that your association probably would need to retain their own legal counsel to advise you of your rights. That's not something that the city is involved in. But I think that like I said, some of these questions can be directed back to the petitioner. But just to be clear, which address do you live at again?
3305.
Okay, so not the 3370 Brook. It's
No.
a separate address, but a similar situation? Is that the, okay.
And if it goes all, if the Brook Avenue one, if that goes all renters, sometimes there's a lot of problems with the property not being kept up. Like, we're owners, so it's important to us to keep our building nice. And apart from anything else, it is our home. We're all older. We have an elevator which helps people that have problems with the stairs. Park Place has buses that take people to, Jewel or Walmart or things like that. And we have, different social things going on. And that's important to us too. And this was put in as a senior building. And we don't want to lose that. We need to know, if we would have any rights. But I guess I just have to talk to the lawyer about that.
Well, I think that is a good recommendation as far as for the association to get a hold of some sort of legal counsel and see where they can go from here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is George Flement. I live at 12866 West Country Club Avenue, which backs up to the Brook address. That's my backyard. The issue with filling that swamp there, that's all wetlands there. I have pictures of our neighborhood that goes underwater. It's underwater right now because it all washes downhill. Everybody, luckily I'm higher in my neighborhood, but everybody farther down from me goes underwater. And this is actually pictures of land right around his, of people's front yards. Gloria's front yard, Frank here. If you want to look at these pictures. So the issue with filling that is it's going to flood everybody more than it does already. I mean, I've lived there for 30-plus years, and before either one of them buildings were built, we had a little bit of water, but nothing like we have now. And for him to fill more land, or whoever's doing it to fill more land, it's going to push all that water into our neighborhood. I realize it doesn't affect the city of Waukegan, but it's going to flood our township.
I'm not clear on, this is the first mention I've had of any land being filled in. I thought the matter here for discussion was whether or not to allow for non-owner occupied residences within that building. So what's the relevance of?
Well, this is the letter that we all received about the property, and it says it's an amendment to something that was submitted many years ago, and they want to develop that land there. Well, this is all swamp. This is all wetlands here. They
Mr.
tried to
Chairman,
fill it once, and the Army Corps of Engineers came in and made them dig it back out.
Mr. Chairman, if I can clarify maybe?
Yes, please.
So there is an existing conditional use permit, and one of the conditions is that all of the units have to be owner occupied. So a request has been made to remove that condition for existing units, that existing units that are supposed to be owner occupied can be rented. So there's no new construction involved in any of this. There's no change to the building itself. It's just to the rules around who can live there.
So it's not going to fill any of this land?
Correct.
Okay, that's the main thing we were here for, because it's flooding everybody already.
Just to be clear, I mean, that's what we're discussing what Ms. Kisher-Leopard just described. We're not discussing, it's not before this committee at this time about any land being
Yeah,
developed.
they're not anything building out, it's just a change of class or a change of status.
Now, that's not to say that there's some other plan, but we aren't aware of it, and we're not discussing that now.
All right, well, it said it was tonight that they were going to talk about it, so I just want to make sure that,
That's,
No, we're not here to vote on or hear anything regarding a new building or new structures going up.
okay.
all right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well,
Hi, my name is Frank Cervantes, and I live at 12884, and my biggest concern was what he said. We thought that there was new construction that was going to go up, and that would definitely flood our backyards, as you can see in the photos. So just to verify, they were just looking to occupy the owners or buy?
Yeah, the original conditional use permit was granted for a facility to be built for owner-occupied apartments.
yeah, condominiums.
Now, they're coming in and wanting to change that so that the units can be rented out.
That's it.
So there's not going to be any new construction or?
Well, we don't know that. I mean, Mr. Rivera.
We're not here, for
not
this
discussing it.
purpose, no, there is no construction happening.
That's not what we're
Yeah.
talking about here.
Yeah. It's just a change in class as far as our ordinance.
Yeah, that was our biggest concern, is because as you can see, the flooding
Yeah.
that takes place, and that's our home. That's what we work hard for.
Right.
Agreed.
You know, and I'd like to stay dry as much as anyone else in this room, so, okay.
And just to clarify, the city has received no plans or applications to do any construction. So
And if we do, they'll be notified, correct?
Absolutely.
it probably depends on what the work is, but we have received, I can say we have received none. So that's, we see no applications or anything, so.
Yeah, because, I mean, those pictures says a lot, but it only tells so much of the story. I mean, when you're there, it's kind of frightening, you know? And like I said, just like anyone else here, we'd like to keep our homes dry, and it's a nicer way to live. So, thank you very much.
Agreed.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
You have to step up.
36417 North Green Avenue, just across from Anand Building.
And what's your name, ma'am?
My name is Gloria, and what I have here is in front of my house. What I wanted to know, if I have a question, is any way can they build something or do something with the water in front of our houses? Because it's a lot of wet, it's like a pond in there. And before, we didn't have this problem. Before they built these two buildings and around us, we didn't have any issues with water. Now we have all this water in front of our houses, so especially mine. So I need to know if they trying or they gonna do something about this. It's like a pond in there in the street.
Well, I'm not sure if that's part of the,
It's not.
It's not related to this application, but we can ask the city engineer to look into whether there's anything
Yeah,
happening
it
there
will
that we can.
be very nice of you guys to do
and
something
this is
about that.
the culvert in front of your house?
Yes.
Okay.
And could you repeat the address for me one more time?
36417 North Green Avenue.
So she doesn't live in Waukegan.
Thank you.
And ma'am, could you provide your last name for the record?
Gloria Flores.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, before, no,
Yes, ma'am.
You have to come up to the microphone, though.
Okay. If Waukegan does not want too many rental buildings, which I was told by a few people in planning and zoning, that Waukegan doesn't want more rental buildings, why pass this amendment? And basically, when you just have rental buildings, they're not kept up as nice as owner-occupied buildings.
what would happen?
Anybody have the answers to that?
Well, if I could just speak and just ask a question, what would happen if the units that were not, you can't rent them, and they can't be sold, nobody's buying them, and then you have, 40 empty units, then how would that work? And remember, I guess the owners have a right to rent their property or sell the property, so I don't know. It's kind of a complex question, I guess.
Very complex, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gloria. At this time, I'd like to ask if there would be any other comments, and I would like to see if the petitioner could possibly come up and talk about some of the concerns that have been brought up.
Yeah.
Good evening, members of the panel committee. My name is Joe Rominski. I represent Mr. Onan, who's present with me to the right. And we want to clarify a few of the comments that were made this evening. First of all, this is not a deconversion. We are not selling the building. Mr. Onan owns a number of units within this condominium building, which, by the way, have been rented out for the past 12 or 14 years. So nothing is being changed. The status quo is pretty much remained the same. It's just that when it came time to closing, we noticed back in January that there was an 05 ordinance that referenced owner-occupied as being a restriction. And that all of a sudden put the brakes on the closing. We thought we better come before the city and get this clarified.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is why we're here today, is to simply remove that. We're not asking that anything be changed other than what's been going on for the past 12 or 14 years at that unit. There's no construction being undertaken, so all these concerns about the flooding are unrelated issues. And unfortunately, the same thing applies with respect to the property on Sunset. There's nothing being done on the property on Sunset here tonight. So this is really only addressing the property on Brook, and the status quo is going to remain the same.
Okay, so it addresses the property on Brook. Really, the only units that'll be affected will be the ones owned by Mr. Onan.
That's correct. The other property owners will continue to own their property.
And they will continue with their association in pretty much the way things are going right now. Is that correct?
That's correct. The association is not changing. He's just selling his individual units within the building. He's not selling the building.
Okay.
He doesn't own the building.
I have a question.
Okay, Alderman Florian?
So you're talking about the Brook building, correct?
Correct.
The one on Sunset, does the same situation exist there? Do we have the same issue with the conditional use permit, and are some units rented there?
Units are rented there, yes.
And does it have the same, I can't see down there because of this glass. Is the same conditional use permit on that building? Because that's where you guys live, right, on Sunset? Okay.
Can't address that because I don't know. I've never
Well,
looked at it.
I'm asking Noelle, she'll know.
Yeah, I don't know the ordinance off the top of my head. I know that that is a senior restricted building. I believe there was an owner-occupied condition, but I'd want to double-check before I say that with certainty.
Okay, well, does Mr. Onan know? Are those units rented out also?
They're rented out. We know
So
they're
we-
rented out.
So this conditional use permit has been being broken from day one, basically, you're telling us?
I don't think it's been applied since day one. I don't want to say broken. The city has been complicit in this as well, in as much as he pays application fees to have him inspected every year and get his rental license every year.
Okay,
So
but,
it's not like there's something being done behind the scenes. Everybody knows what's been going on for the past 12 or 14 years. We're just asking that the status quo remain the same, and that this technicality that was in an '05 ordinance that was apparently never complied with from day one be removed.
and bottom line, nothing's going to change for these owners that already own their property, pay their taxes, and have their association?
As far as the Brook property is concerned, that's all we're here for today, and that's all I can address.
Okay. Thank you for
Thank you, ma'am.
clarification.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
Can I ask, do you guys feel better about this
Yeah, is
situation?
there?
When that,
Decide that we would either object or support removing that amendment.
I think she may be referring to a attempt to amend the association bylaws and declarations, which is entirely different than amending an ordinance with the city of Waukegan. So I think there might be either an owner-occupied or age restriction that the association was looking to amend their bylaws back a while ago. But the property's not being brought before the council tonight for any reason.
Okay,
Will you be willing to talk to her?
I'd be more than happy to talk to any of them.
Okay.
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because just to make sure that all of her concerns are addressed.
I'd be more than happy to talk to them.
And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Your information was very, very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
this sounds like one of those disconnects that we talked about between where planning and zoning and code compliance
And licensing.
and licensing, we're kind of not aware, and so that's what we're working to resolve with this new software that's going to be implemented and so forth and so on.
Yes, hopefully our new software helps with that. Our previous software systems did not communicate with each other, and planning and zoning was not part of the review of rental licenses, so we didn't have an opportunity to provide additional information when rental licenses were applied for.
Great, thank you, Noel.
Okay, if there are no other comments regarding this public hearing, may I have
We got to close the hearing, right?
a motion to adjourn the meeting?
To
adjourn
close
hearing.
the public hearing.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Turner?
Yes,
Seconded by Alderman Florian
to close the hearing,
to close the hearing.
all right?
That can be by a voice vote.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going on to item number 4, public hearing zoning calendar number 2650.
Wait a minute, excuse me. Do we take a vote on making the amendment? When do we do that?
That comes later. This is just the public hearing.
Public hearing.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. Number 4, public hearing zoning calendar number 2650 regarding 1325 Belvedere. At this time, I would like to call to order the public hearing and begin with if anyone has comments.
And if I can just clarify on this one, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
There was a public hearing, excuse me, held at the Planning and Zoning Commission as usual, but because I was not certain that the certified mailing was conducted properly for this particular one, we're holding an additional public hearing. So it's duplicative. It's what we've already done at Planning and Zoning, and that hearing did apply with the rules. I just wasn't certain that the mailing was proper. So we did resend the mailing, and I'm certain that it was proper for this meeting. So there may not be any comments because people did speak at Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for that clarification, Noel. And thank God you're here to lead this meeting, or lead me. Okay, so if there are no comments for the conditional use permit, is the petitioner here? Would they like to say anything? Yes, no? Oh, okay, you're all, okay, all right. Well, and again, just opening it up to see if there are any comments regarding this, for the location at 1325 Belvedere. And I was told that because we have done this before, we will ask again if there are any comments, and then we can close the hearing. Is that correct, Noel?
That's correct.
All right. Being no other or additional comments for this particular public hearing, I would like to call a vote for the closing of the public hearing, zoning calendar number 2650 for 1325 Belvedere. All in favor?
Aye.
And was that Alderman Florian with a motion and Alderman Hayes with a second?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much. Okay, now we will quickly move on to new business. The first item, item A, motion to adopt an ordinance authorizing the conveyance of property located at Indiana Avenue by the City of Waukegan to Helmer Herrera.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner. Seconded by Alderman Florian. Are there any questions? Do we have a specific number address or?
This property does not have an address.
Okay,
It does have a PIN number, which was in your materials, and I don't have it in front of me. Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. The PIN number is 08-17-401-408. It's listed as 0 Indiana Avenue,
okay,
across the street from an alley.
okay.
And it looks like it was originally platted as an alley.
Can we add the PIN number just to specify?
In the motion?
Yes,
Sure.
please. And can I have a vote?
Roll call?
Yes, that was Alderman Turner and Alderman Florian.
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye, thank you. Item B, motion to approve a resolution accepting a grant from the Illinois Housing Development Authority's Strong Communities Program.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by
Alderman Hayes.
Alderman Hayes. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Sorry, Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye, thank you. Item C, motion to approve zoning calendar number 2654, site plan approval pursuant to the McGraw Business Park Overlay District at 1210 South Waukegan Road. May I have a motion, please?
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by
Alderman Hayes.
Alderman Hayes. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye, thank you. Item number D, consideration of zoning calendar number 2660, an amendment to the conditional use permit for 3370 Brook Avenue to remove the condition requiring units to be owner occupied.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner,
Second.
seconded by Alderman Florian. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye. Thank you. All right, next item, item E. Motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class C-1 liquor license for 3201 Waukegan Gas LLC, DBO Sitco Gas Station at 3201 North Lewis Avenue. Is this an ownership change, or?
No, they just want to create a new liquor license.
Sean, are you able to answer questions on this? Are you able to answer questions on the liquor license? Oh, no. Oh, Sherry's here. Sherry, are you?
She's limping.
It's for a new liquor license.
Okay, so this is a new,
Right.
I think he came before the council before when he was purchasing the gas station. Could that be the same buyer?
I'm not sure. I know where this location is at. I don't remember that particular.
Is anyone here for this? Oh,
Oh, okay.
well, maybe you guys know.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Gregory Stedman. I'm an attorney representing Mr. Nick Patel, who is the new owner of this Sitco gas station.
Hi, my name is Narendra Patel, and I bought the station in December of this last year.
Oh, okay.
I'm planning to reopening,
Okay.
and currently it's closed.
Yeah, I've seen it. I drive by there occasionally, and I've seen it closed and open, closed and open. So welcome, and I hope you're very successful there for many, many years to come.
Yep.
So
Any questions?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do have a question.
there was an issue that was raised with this particular application. The C1 licenses were created to address a specific situation when a previous license class was basically rendered obsolete, and there were, I believe, 7 or 8, I think, 7? So 7 prior gas stations that had the ability to sell not only beer and wine, but also hard alcohol.
Oh.
And so there are currently not, all those are currently taken. And the City Council would need to make a decision to reverse that, to get a C1 license. Now, an F1 license would not require basically overruling a previous ordinance.
So
if we change this to an F1 liquor license, can we approve tonight?
That would be, I mean, it would be advising the owner that they would only be able to sell beer and wine. This could also be held over for 2 weeks for them to go back with the licensing department and to review that.
So should we ask the applicant?
That would be perfectly.
Yeah.
I believe the applicant is seeking here to be able to sell spirits as well as beer and wine.
Okay.
So if whatever the committee or the council needs to do to potentially allow that to happen, we would appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to have to hold this over then.
I think hold it over, and then there can be consideration of whether the committee wants to reconsider the decision that was made back in 2018.
Yeah.
And at that point, we can get a sense from the committee and also from the council what their direction will be, and give the applicant basically what his options are.
So if we're going to do that, then I too have a similar situation with the Sitco station in my ward. On Sunset, Mr. Jacob has been trying to get a liquor license for years, and he's constantly, it's never even come up for discussion because we were going to adhere to this ordinance, no more licenses, et cetera. So if we're going to grant Mr. Patel a C1, I'd like to create 2 licenses so that Mr. Jacob could avail himself of that opportunity as well. It wouldn't seem fair to me that Mr. Jacob, who has been in business for the same location for many years and has wanted and been seeking this license, not be allowed to have it. Then Mr. Patel comes in and he gets it. So if we're going to create 1, let's create 2.
And we can have those discussions at that time.
Okay.
You know, which seems fair. But at this time, we will hold this over so we can get clear clarification of how to proceed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Great.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item number F. Motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class E liquor license for Antojitos Donatico Incorporated, 1102 Glen Rock Avenue. May I have a first and a second?
I'll first.
Second.
Okay, first by Alderman Florian, seconded by Alderman Turner. Any questions? Is the petitioner here? Okay, would you like to come up and say a few words? I just have one question, so maybe two.
Hello, my name is Jesus Albarran. I'm co-owner of Antojitos Sonatico with my sister Isabel Albarran. The business was originally my parents' for the last 20 years. During the pandemic, we had to close down. My mother passed away, and we took over the restaurant since. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, well, first of all, my condolences on the passing of your mother. And I know that the establishment has been there forever, as I say, because I drive by there often. I've eaten there. So my question is, it's been there for 20 years. What's the change to serve liquor now?
Well, the change is, my sister and I believe that certain items pair well with other beverages, and we need to allow the customer to have more options.
Okay. All right. No, that's fair. That's fair. And knowing that you and your sister just took over the business, I can see where you're just going to progress to the next level.
That's what I hope. Yes.
Oh, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Are there any other questions from the alderman? All right. Well, thank you very
Good
much.
luck to you.
And
Thank you.
congratulations and success.
Thank you.
Hope for success. All right. So may I have a roll call, please?
I'm sorry, was there a motion?
Yes, the motion was made by Alderman Florian, seconded by Alderman Turner.
Thank you, sorry about that.
Did you want to make the motion?
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye. Okay. Next item, item G, motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class E liquor license for HE Corporation, DBA El Mercadito, 511 South Green Bay Road. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by
Alderman Hayes.
Alderman Hayes. Is the petitioner here, and are there any questions? Yes. Are there any questions for the petitioner?
Are you going to want gaming machines in your location?
It's not for certain, but I am not looking into it either.
Okay.
And my question is kind of similar to the previous one. How long has the establishment been there?
I took over June 2017.
I'm sorry, that was hard to hear.
Sorry, I took over 2017 June.
Oh, okay. And so it's never served alcohol?
No.
Okay. And the reason for serving alcohol now is?
We have a lot of competition around, and they serve alcohol, and I believe like the only way that we will keep up is serving what they have.
Mm-hmm. Okay, which makes sense. Well, thank you very much for that explanation. If there are no other questions, can we vote on this, please?
Alderman Turner?
Aye.
Alderman Florian?
Aye.
Alderman Hayes?
Aye.
Alderman Rivera?
Aye. Thank you. Item H, motion to approve an ordinance creating a Class A1 liquor license for The Maple, Waukegan at 1508 Washington Street.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Turner, seconded by,
I'd like to hold this over, actually.
okay.
Why?
I think we have some things we have to clear up before we can approve this.
What do we have to clear up?
Do I want to talk about this in public, Stu?
It's, if there was an issue with the application, and there was a question of whether the applicant met all the standards of the application, and whether some of those standards need to be revisited. And so if the committee would like to hold this over to the next time, we can bring back some more information and some suggestions on how to address the situation.
I
It can
agree.
also, it can be held over without explanation, correct? If one of the
Yes,
committee members-
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so this item is being held over.
All right,
Thank you.
great job.
Okay, items I through M are also being held over. Do we have to go through and read each one, or?
No, you can just state that those items are being held over, and we're
All righty, and as I
adjournment.
previously stated, items I through M will be held over until the next meeting. At this point, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Alderman Hayes, seconded by Alderman Florian. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
The meeting is over. Thank you.